There we go. Make sure. Okay. Now we'll go resize it because I was resizing the window so I could see chat better. There we go. Right. Score's fine. Hi. Would you like a bite of a carrot? Sarge likes carrots. Okay, so I'm gonna unlock that stuff, I assume, as I play it. Graphic visuals are enabled by default. To censor, go to preferences. This will not affect the narration. You like that carrot? Nobody knew how it happened. Ah! A boy, barely reaching double digits in years, was lying dead in the driveway. Gray and red pulp was painted everywhere. Back the car up! Back the car up already! How did he get under there? Lying down to draw? Some freak force of nature? I'm trying, woman! An innocent life was taken too soon and too violently. Was it the will of some cruel god? A woman ran to the body, attempting to reattach fragments of jaw back onto the skull. One figure jumped out of the car in pursuit while the other was frozen in place outside. She had watched the full event unfold in front of her. Baby, speak to me, please. He's dead. No, he's not. Look, he's still moving. Don't you hear him crying? Hi, Sarge. You've gone mad. Don't you like Sorry, just like, Mommy, I love carrots. Can't eat my carrots in peace without a dog begging. And you've gone deaf. We need to save our son. There's still hope. Drive him to the hospital. His brains are all over the pavement. He's already left this world. No, he hasn't. You're a liar. Help me. But, now if you care about me and your children, he can't stay on here like this. Bring him inside before the neighbors come. We'll deal with this later. It's okay. It's okay. You can hug me tighter, darling. We didn't mean it. He's still alive. Mommy, what's going on? Don't worry there. It's just a little accident, but everything is going to be okay, I promise. We should replace his head. Quick, our garden. A pumpkin should be the best size. Okay, but you can't have the pork rinds. They're spicy, puppy. The perfect nuclear family, torn apart. Their lives would be forever changed. Peter, pumpkin eater, had a wife but couldn't keep her. He put her in a pumpkin shell, and there he kept her very well. And the mother stood painting and admiring her creation, wiping off any blood from her hands onto her apron. It was a little crude, yes, but it worked better than she expected. Outside, the father stared into the sky while the daughter couldn't look away from the driveway mess. Her head hurt from crying her heart out. It's gonna rain soon. It'll wash everything away as if nothing happened. Are we really not gonna do anything? I'll think of something. Daddy is tougher than you think. For now, humor your mother by going along. I'll be hosing down the driveway. I'm scared. I hate this. I had to make sure I remember to turn my mic on. The father reassuringly patted her on the shoulder. Though he was a man of few words, the father did love his wife, but most importantly, he loved his image. He didn't want his family to be branded as miscreants. They had just committed vehicular manslaughter. There had to be a way of disposing the body. Dinner is ready, you two. Please come inside. The two are greeted by the son, who is sitting in Grandpa's old wheelchair. The most bizarre sight, however, was a pumpkin in place of a human head. Its face carved into a welcoming grin. One could still see the remnants of the original crushed head inside within the holes. See, the head looks just like him. He said he likes his chair, but wishes it wasn't so squeaky. Dear, could you do me a favor and purchase some oil tomorrow? Of course. Well, everyone, don't just stand there catching flies. Let us wash our hands and begin the dinner prayers so we can eat. There was little talk at the table. What was there to say anyway? Despite the gloomy atmosphere, the mother was unusually lively. Here comes the airplane! She was spoon-feeding him. The daughter grimaced at her, shoving mashed potatoes into the son's mouth. The girl looked at the father for guidance, but he did not return her gaze. The daughter focused her attention back to the food on her plate. It smelled good, but the meat resembled an awful lot like her brother's. She dry-heaved. After silently washing the dishes with her mother, the daughter headed straight to bed. She had no energy left in her. It's rude leaving your brother at the table, you know. He's going to sleep with me? Of course, why wouldn't he? You two have always shared a bedroom. Grr, why is he so hard to move? His joints are all locked up, I swear. He was much more relaxed this afternoon. Using all her strength and grumbling, Mother laid the son in his bed. She first tucked in the son, then the daughter, making sure to kiss each of their foreheads. Sweet dreams, you two. Good night, Mom. Just a second, sorry, I'm so hungry. With the flick of the switch, the room fell into darkness. Even with the daughter's back turned, she knew those carved eyes were boring into her. Have a good day at work. Remember what I told you. Dear. That is final. Wake up, it's time for school. Her brother was still laying in bed, so it wasn't a nightmare after all. As per usual, the mother tied the daughter's bow, blue, her favorite color. Your brother needs to stay home for a while so he can recover from his injuries. Listen, whatever you do, don't tell anybody what happened yesterday. It'll be our family's little secret. Do you understand? Okay. I'm glad you're so well behaved. Mommy and Daddy are trying their best despite our predicaments. The girl shuffled off towards the school bus, completely bewildered by the mother's nonchalant attitude. After waving the daughter goodbye, the older woman returned to the house. Only the mother and son remained. Thankfully, his body had loosened up again, so it was easier to carry him out of bed into the wheelchair. Don't get so full of yourself, you still have to study at home. Oh, don't give me that look either. You know puppy dog eyes are my weakness. Today was typically the day she spent cleaning the entire house, despite her being a stay-at-home mother. It was a full job taking care of the estate, not to mention her family. She pulled out the vacuum cleaner. Several hours of busy work would be good to take her mind off yesterday's events. Are you thirsty? Would you like me to bring you a drink? You're not? It's fine. If you need anything, just call for me. I'll be there in a jiffy. It was a lovely day today, and her son could use some fresh air. These are spicy. You cannot have. I will bring you something. I'll give you a snack after I finish mine. Mother pushed him out to the veranda behind the house. He faced the family's pumpkin patch so no nosy neighbors could see him. The sky suddenly opened up, and Mother was glad for the sudden rain. Their pumpkin patch desperately needed it. Wait, the sun was still outside. Mother dragged him inside and threw several towels on him. She pressed against them, drying him as fast as she could. What fool she was, taking him outside really was a bad idea. She promised herself she wouldn't slip up like that again. Oh dear, your clothes are soaking wet. I can't have you catching a cold. I'm gonna have to change them if that is alright with you. I don't think he's gonna catch a cold, ma'am. He would need a brain for that. Dinner was again silent. Usually the daughter was the chattiest, bragging forever about what she had learned in school or in her books that day. Now she was poking her stew. It takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. The daughter refused to respond, huffing in annoyance. The mother turned her attention to her husband. Your son and I had a great time today. He was very quiet, but did complete his required reading. I consider that great progress. I'm heading to the bar. Dear, but we haven't finished yet. I'll be back soon. Dad's gonna get milk and not come back, isn't he? Goodness, what has gotten into everyone? After dinner, it's cleanup ended, the mother and daughter went their separate ways. The mother fell fast asleep in the daughter's bedroom. In the daughter's bedroom, the girl was looking for any sign of life in her brother. Pale skin, dried blood around his neck, and a burgundy discoloration in the arms and hands. It just wasn't human. She reached out for his arm. Touching her brother was a familiar occurrence. Play fighting, sharing food. She interacted with him as any other sibling would. Even if the two had spent hours in snow, she had never touched a person so cold before. The daughter shrunk back. She lacked the heart to continue calling him her brother. The figure tucked in gently was just an it. Without a word, she pulled the covers over the body. It's school time, please get dressed. When the daughter woke, she found the body back leering at her. The blankets must have slipped off the night, and covering the head, a fly landed on the pumpkin. Hello, who is this? Yes, I'm the mother. Yes, ma'am. I assure you everything was fine with my son. He's been feeling a bit under the weather lately. Thank you, goodbye. The teacher on the phone sounded incredibly displeased. Timelines and attendance has always been one of the family's virtues, so the mother was quite embarrassed. In addition, the mother felt guilty for not informing the teacher of her son's absence ahead of time. But her husband kept instructing her not to speak about her son's accident. The father didn't return that night. To help alleviate the awkwardness, the mom attempted small talk. So how was your day today? Learn anything fun? Kind of. Was dinner to your liking? You need to eat your vegetables to grow big and strong, I guess. Your brother was telling me a funny story today about how you both accidentally broke a vase by playing tag. You were so horrified you ran into the house and climbed the tree to hide. He tried to save you by climbing the tree, but ended up getting stuck up there too. You two must have been up there for hours by the time your father and I came home from the store. I swear, you kids are always up to mischief whenever your parents are out of the house. The mother chuckled and spoon-fed some broccoli to the son. The house was starting to smell. It was musty, like meat starting to spoil. The daughter knew exactly what was causing the odor, and it made her stomach churn. After dinner, we can put on the radio. The Lone Ranger must be on. You like cowboys, don't you? Serge's like, Mom. No, not really. I'll be heading to bed. Fine then. Your brother and I will enjoy the program without you, Miss Grumpy Pants. The mother's first task of the day after sending the daughter and husband off to work was attending to her son. She hadn't noticed it before, but certain areas of the children's skin were discolored. It had the same green and blue hues of a bruise, but the eerie marbling patterns were nothing like she had ever seen before. At least it was faint. Were you playing with marker? Pulling out a sponge, she washed the spot, but it refused to scrub off. She retrieved her makeup kit to cover up the blemishes. Tomorrow she would look for a strong cleaner for his skin. Sweetheart, could you pass the salt to your brother? He looks like he needs some. The doctor hesitated, but he's okay. I appreciate you being well-behaved since your brother's injury. It makes Mommy's job a little easier. Don't worry, he'll be back to running around with you in no time. Again, the father did not return from dinner. The daughter was beginning to think he had run away for good. She did not blame him. But why couldn't he take her away with him? He went to get milk, sweetie. As the woman was cleaning up, the door flung open. It was his father. The girl's nose crinkled at the heavy liquor smell coming from him. Hick, home, head to bed, no dinner needed. Took you long enough. I'm not happy. Our son needs you right now. I don't want to hear your nagging, woman. We're back. Alright, let's get you something. These are so good. Gonna have me in a Lonnie Noon for energy. Gonna allow myself one every couple days. And they're like low carb and no calorie compared to a soda. This one is Rocket Pop flavored. The daughter sprinted to her room before she got caught in the crossfire. She could already hear the screaming in the parents' bedroom. Knowing her mother, this could take hours. Like the several days before, the siblings found themselves staring at each other in bed. It was becoming tough to look at him. The foulness of his scent made her eyes burn, like moldy salami. She failed to suppress the tremble she noticed. White fuzz growing in the vegetable's eyes. She felt nothing but sympathy for the corpse. He deserved a proper burial like Grandpa. Not kept around like this in state. Brother, are you in heaven? Are you at peace right now? The entire family was keeping themselves in the living room. The father was reading a newspaper, the daughter playing with jacks, the son sitting silently in the corner, and the mother frantically running around spraying as much bug spray as she could. Ugh, there are flies everywhere. I'm so sick of their buzzing. I'm worried that all their noise is bothering our son. He needs as much sleep as possible to recover. Dear, do you think something went bad in the pantry? If you help me move some boxes, I can clean it today. Dear, are you listening to me? Father threw his newspaper on the floor. I'm tired of playing pretend. You're taking this too far. What do you mean? Are you... As in, I'm disposing of his body properly. I'm digging his grave and you will not stop me. Without hesitation, he left the room and returned with the shovel. He grabbed a wheelchair. The mother also latched onto it, pulling it to her side with all her might. Left and right, the bloated body was jostled between the parents, almost ready to topple over out of its seat. No, leave him alone. You can't keep him like this. Yes, I can. He's our son. Stop scaring him. For heaven's sake, he's green and smells like sewage. Does that sound normal to you? The wife should always listen to the husband. Don't be foolish. Once he's buried in the pumpkin patch, we shall never speak of this again. A couple of inches to the right, and the china glass would have A couple inches to the right, and that china glass would have blinded him. Don't you dare take him away from me. Her outburst was completely uncharacteristic to the father and daughter. It shocked them who or what had possessed the mother. Please, we can get you some help. You're being hysterical. The mother opened a nearby drawer and grabbed a large knife. She was good at cooking and knew her cutlery well. The woman looked terrified, shakingly holding the knife, but wholly prepared to strike in defense. I will die before ever letting my child get in harm's way. You're a danger to us. I'll do it. I'm not afraid to do it. The father dropped the shovel, backing slowly away until he was trapped against the wall. Unfortunately for him, the mother closed the distance between the two. That's right. You're the one who ran over him in the first place, so don't you dare lay another finger on his head, murderer. I've been following your every order, but look where that's gotten us. For the sake of our children, I think it's time you started listening to me. We're going to continue taking care of our son because he had a nasty accident and needs our help. Do you understand? The wife raised the knife to his face. I said, do you understand me? Yes, I understand. Don't hurt me. Good. Now we're gonna have ourselves a nice dinner. Any objections? and the room stayed silent. Mother's demeanor became gentler, but she continued to grip the knife as if her life depended on it. I'm glad. Sweetheart, please follow Mommy and help her out. We're returning your brother to the bedroom. I think things are a little too loud for him around here. You two have been so inconsiderate. Day 7. Happy birthday! Unwrap it already. Wow, a bike, thank you. Sure thing, sport. How about we break it in after the party? Yes, please, this is the best day ever. Can I ride it too? No way, you still need training wheels. Mom, he's being mean. Don't get too rowdy, you still have to unwrap the last of your presents. Who else wants another slice of cake? Me. I got an achievement envelope. Are you mad at Mommy and Daddy for hurting you? Ah, thank goodness. I feel so relieved. I always tell your daddy to be more careful when he's driving, but he never listens. And the mother picked up another maggot and tossed it into a bin. It was starting to overflow, but at least she was making progress removing the squirming creatures. I know, that feels so much better, doesn't it? She was a patient woman. His healing process shouldn't take much longer. Day 10. I was a little late today waking you up. Please get dressed as soon as possible. Bottle after bottle. The mother used her aerosol freshener to help air out the room. A whack with her hand, she squashed another scuttle beetle. By now she was certain that something went bad in the pantry, for there was a large bug infestation. As much as she wasn't looking forward to it, she may have to clean out the entire pantry. She smacked a fly that was resting on top of her son's head. Oh my, I'm sorry for using this fly swatter on you. Did that hurt? While the mother was hard at work cleaning the house, the daughter nowadays avoided going inside as much as possible. Every day she came... can I save? Okay, there's save points. Cool. Yes. Every day when she came home, her brother's body would be happily greeting her. She just couldn't handle the rotting sights and smells anymore. The smell of his exudation was overpowering. Green and brown juices dripped from his head and soaked his clothes. It wasn't rotting or meat or spoiled milk anymore. It was death. No kids wanted to be near her either. In the corner of her eye, she could see them gag and hold their noses as if she was a deceased one herself. Are you sure you don't want to stay with me a little longer? I can't. I have to go back to home to my wife. But you've been looking so stressed recently. Is everything okay at home? The father let out a deep sigh. Not particularly. Oh dear. Oh dear, indeed. I haven't been treated the best recently. My wife has been so demanding. Screaming at me for the littlest thing. She is strutting around like she wears the pants around the house now. I can't get any peace and quiet in my own home. Hey, honey. Welcome to the stream. I need to show her who's boss. She can't keep pushing me around like this. I'm a man, for God's sake. I wish you luck. You can always come crawling back to me to lick your wounds. This is very interesting. Because it's like showing the decomposition process of the boy. Where have you been? It's rather late. Work. Our son was asking about you today because you failed to show up for supper again. You're worrying him sick. Every single day you talk about that blasted son. I don't like how you do your job and make the money. I take care of the house and the kids. Why is that so hard for you to understand? Yet you call me foolish. He was humiliated for how quickly she shut him down. At least she couldn't dictate his actions outside of the house. He betrayed himself for his cowardice. 14 day now. Oh, darling, I'm so sorry that dinner was a little rushed. Taking care of your brother was consuming most of my day today. It was worse than rushed. More like she threw random ingredients, inedible or not, in a pot. The past 2 weeks it seemed that most of her meals were ending in the similar fate. The daughter poked a semi-charred apple with a fork. There was a maggot living in her food. Oh my, what have I told you about not washing your hands before you eat? You need to wash them more frequently. Were you playing outside? Stop it already. How could you two continue pretending that everything is normal? Do you tell her that everything is normal? The father looked like he was in a trance, rhythmically chewing his food without a care in the world. Listen to your mother more. She is correct. Oh, look at the body of the boy. It's like a... Ugh. It's not true. Why do you insist on talking back? You're a child. You don't understand anything. Treat your parents with some respect. The mother began to spoon feed the body again. The spoon's contents also hardly containing maggots. A milky white maggot slipped from the soft pumpkin head and landed onto the spoon, oblivious to the mother. Yummy, isn't it? Oh God, she was gonna retch. I'm going to my room. As you should, no supper for the rest of the night. The daughter was forced to cart the body back to their bedroom, making sure to avoid touching his slimy body as little as possible. His abdomen distended beyond belief. It was straining to rip through his clothes. The gorging insects were taking delight in how he was a balloon ready to pop. Who knew what putrid horrors were trapped inside him? The girl fell to her knees weeping. Mother kept saying everything was fine, but of course it wasn't. Who wouldn't? What wouldn't she give to return to normal? Whatever did she do to deserve this torture? If only she and her brother hadn't been roughhousing when the car came. When she looked up, the body was now facing away from her, giving her some semblance of privacy during her grief. Or was he always facing that way? She couldn't remember. Thank you. Of course there would be no response, yet she still felt the urge to say something. I miss you, brother. I miss you so much. Day 17. School, now. Putrefaction. Oh, gross. Another day, another garbage bag full of empty bug spray. The mother dabbed away at leakage from the son's body alongside some flaky adipocrete. It was too much of a mess moving him in and out of the wheelchair anymore, not to mention ruining her upholstery, so she might as well clean him where he sat. You need to take care of yourself more. The last time I sponge bathed you, you were a wee baby. Not to say you're not still mommy's little baby. She was frustrated with how many rags it took to maintain her son's cleanliness. He was slowly making his way through her favorite dish rags, the pelican pattern ones she was using to soak with the murky browns and greens. Her poor pumpkin seemed to be covered in a greasy black substance. It wasn't his job to clean the stovetop. The mother dabbed harder against his arms, accidentally scraping off a small section of skin. She groaned as more fluid oozed from the spot. Her sister has been refusing to help with laundry. Can you believe it? I wish she was as well behaved as you. No one wants to spend time with dear old mom. That's why you will always be mommy's favorite. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Hello? Yes, this is the mother. What? My daughter said that? About that? I think a raccoon died in the walls. We're going to have to look at it. Yeah, she's just overreacting. Trying to have such vivid imaginations. Her fist clenched. That girl. Because the school bus had long since left, Mother had to drive to school to pick her up. They drove back in silence with the daughter awkwardly fidgeting and Mother looking like she was about to blow a gasket. Okay, explain yourself. Your teacher said that you were insisting on not returning home because there's a corpse in our house. Do you know how embarrassed I was? But it's true. There are insects crawling all over him in the house. I don't know how much more I can take. I feel so sick. The mother glared at the body. What's that, darling? She's been quite rude. Yes, I agree with you. Mom, he's dead. He will not respond. When will you do something about it? It's awful living here. What a horrible thing to say about your brother. I thought I raised you better than that. Everything has gone downhill since he died. You don't do my hair bow anymore. The food is rotten. Dad barely comes home, and I can't stand all the smell. I know you're still grieving, but when will you even get it through your thick head? The mother's eyes widened at the reading of her hand and to her weeping daughter on the floor. The woman had spanked both her children for misbehaving before, but she had never stricken their faces. You hit me. Sweetie, I didn't mean to. I just didn't know what came hold of me. You know I'm so stressed taking care of your brother. Ooh, the gaslighting. I don't know who you are anymore, but you're not my mom. I hate you. Darling. No, you can't hide this anymore. I'm telling the police about you and my brother. She sprinted to the phone, but the mother grabbed her by the hair, pain searing through the girl's body.
You insolent child, after everything I've done for you. It hurts, Mother. It hurts. You gotta rip my scalp off. A prepubescent girl had no physical power over a full-grown woman. The daughter was dragged across the wooden floor using all of her strength to attempt to release herself. When the mother reached the children's bedroom, she threw the girl inside. The door locked. Let me out! I'm begging you! Mummy is so tired. The poor wretched girl banged and banged against the door, no avail. Mother wasn't even listening to her. And I'm sure you're tired of arguing as well. Daddy disagreed for a while, but he eventually learned that Mommy always knows best. All we have to do is wait a little bit longer until your brother heals up. You believe Mommy, don't you? I need to tell your father about this. He will not be pleased. No, I'm sorry. If you were truly sorry, you would have been a better sister. You can be that now. That night, the daughter had a nightmare. Maggots covering every square inch of her body, twisting and writhing to find any way to burrow deep inside. She would have screamed if her mouth wasn't equally stuffed with maggots. The white worm slithered across the remains of her tongue, bashing against the wall of her pumpkin head, trying to escape. She could feel their tiny mouths eating away at her bite by bite. Hello there, sweet baby boy. I was checking up on you. Did I disturb your sleep? No, she wasn't. Her brother. Leave her alone. You haven't fallen asleep yet. Are you having trouble? I can read you a bedtime story if you'd like. Which one do you want to hear? If I remember correctly, the ugly duckling was your favorite. Oh, these noises. She sat down next to the daughter, unaware of the slimy, squirming creatures crawling their way onto the hem of her dress. Buzzing blowflies dancing above the two. And she began to read. The air was suffocating. Good night. May you have sweet dreams. She kissed the pumpkin. Dark slime clung to her lips from her goodnight kiss smooch. The room fell into darkness, leaving the daughter alone, coughing and gagging into the night. Day 20. You're back. I'm going to check the mail. I'm expecting a package. Second, I'm looking for a dog. These are Juno's, so she's not. Juno! Juno, are you okay, baby? Sergeant, get out of her face. Come on in, honey. Here. No, you had yours. This is for her. You boys had yours. This is Juno. No. No. That's it. No more.
Alright. Sorry about that. Had to give the doggies, went to the bathroom, fed Flower because Flower Power was getting hungry because she's a chunky cat and chunky cats like to eat food. Alright, I think I see who I'm gonna rate because I think this will be the last game because I've been going for nearly 5 hours and I'm going to want to take a break from streaming. And we've done, this will be the 3rd game we beat after we beat it. Yes, ma'am, my daughter is at home. The kids measles has gotten pretty bad. They should be returning to school any day now. Yes, of course. I've been homeschooling them in the meantime. What do you think I've been doing this entire time? My babies will be back when they're ready. Not a day sooner. You can stop calling me now. My mother is exhausted from the incessant phone calls. Just yesterday, the electric company had threatened to shut down the power if the bills weren't paid, but she knew she had paid them. The son's skin looked even worse today. Concerningly worse. His skin was a soaking paper towel, tearing just as easily. The mother brought out more of her makeup kit ready to powder all the putrefaction. Though unlikely her previous attempts, her son's skin refused to obey. Ugh. Oh, God, not the noises. Like a silk glove, the skin slipped off, landing silently onto the ground. The ease of such a feat shocked her. Then more and more until he was resembling some bloated lizard emerging from his molt. With each opening, a drip of black-like stew goo trickled down his limbs. No. Don't do this. She pressed her hands against him to hamper any further slothing. In retaliation, a geyser of thick fluid spurted from his torso, accompanied by air too foul to describe. Oh! Finally, this stream of bodily fluid deliquesced came to rest. The child in front of her was partially deflated, sagging further into his soaked state. This wasn't good. Why wouldn't her husband take their child to the hospital? The mother was damn near ready to herself. But she knew the jostling would make things worse. Even the lightest touch of her hand was not safe anymore. Tears welled in her eyes. What more could she do? On the contrary, the son's face was twisted into some sort of relieved grin. The tired woman looked down. Her dress hem was dyed in an assortment of dark fluid, touching her dress, only further coating her hands in the mucus. After the mother spent the rest of the day cleaning the mess, she bathed and went to bed. Day 22. Oh, Sergeant. Oh my God, dogs. Anytime the daughter's door was unlocked, it was to slip in food. The timing was irregular, making it difficult to calculate when she should escape. She could hardly eat the food anymore. Not one meal passed without a wriggling maggot hiding inside. Being trapped in this festering room made her entire body itch. She brushed off a hungry fly crawling on her arm. Their usual food source had been relocated to the living room for several days now, but they were more than happy to bother her. The daughter remembered Job. Job, a figure from the Bible. Despite all the suffering and adversary he was given, he never gave up hope and was rewarded in the end. God, I can't read. She could make it through this too. One power the daughter had over her mother was retaining her wits. The police are here. But why? The mother glanced at the rooms behind her. Hide him. Make sure the police don't hear the children. Good afternoon, officer. What business do you have here? Excuse me, ma'am. We're called here today because of a smell complaint. One of your neighbors isn't happy. Yes, sir. Everything is all right. We've been having all sorts of pest problems, and I've been doing everything we can to clean them out. The insects in the pantry, raccoons in the walls. It's all a living nightmare. Whew. Phew. I can smell it. Do you have Stinky Cheese Factory hidden in there? The three awkwardly chuckled. The caller also mentioned that your son hasn't been seen in a while. Yes, it's a case of the measles, I'm afraid. He hasn't been improving as quickly as I'd hope. I've been so weary. Everything seems to be piling up. My husband keeps saying he doesn't have time to help. He's always working. The mother wiped her eyes as the policemen lowered their hats to their chest. Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. We won't bother you anymore. Our best wishes for your son getting better. Thank you. You're too kind. I'll be sure to tell him. The daughter's mouth was gagged with an old sock behind her. Her father was tying her arms with ropes. The man had little idea how to do it and was trying to barbarically force the limbs in a position they shouldn't go. Your mother cares about us. You know that, don't you? You can see how much she loves your brother. She'll come around and then we can go back to being a family. Why did her father keep listening to that monster? The daughter let out a muffled wail. Finally, the man turned to stare at her. Instead of a cold glare, he looked pained from heartbreak. He placed what might have been a loving hand on her shoulder, but he seemed too lost to tell. Yes, that's it. She was his child, remember? Surely he realized what he was doing to her. Glow. Any trace of empathy vanished when he heard the returning heels of Mother. What took you so long? Come with me to the entrance. Her arms were bright red from struggling against the ropes. No, don't leave her. On the opposite side of the room, the son's untied body was mocking her, a large section of hand ligament and muscle dribbling onto the wheelchair seat. Eventually, the police drove away. The parents did not return to unbind her. Was it because they forgot, or did they know she would attempt to escape again? What's up, pup? Kisses. Black putrefaction was that achievement I just got. Both the father and mother were staring at the black limb on the floor. It was soft and delicate like wet tissue paper. Likewise, the child was rapidly falling apart. His musky pumpkin head barely attached to the neck. I thought after receiving his new head he would be recovering, but every day he gets worse and worse. What's wrong? What should we do? That's it. What if we replaced the body too? His body wasn't compatible with the head, so we should find a new body, that is. The neighbor's son. They're the same age. Bring the child here tonight, and don't keep waiting. Our son needs his body more than their brat does. What the fuck? The daughter was awoken by muffled sounds of struggling and whimpering. What was going on? A child's scream in the basement answered her question. Would she be next? The daughter did the only thing she could think of. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women. Footsteps grew closer to her bedroom. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners. Your mother wants to see you. No! There was an uninvited person in the basement. He was dead. He was fresh, and the pumpkin on his head was even fresher. Her parents really did kill someone. In the corner, her brother's body was callously cast away. Look, darling, look, your brother's all better now. Aren't you happy? We don't have to worry anymore. And the mother stepped towards the daughter, completely drenched in blood. The daughter wanted to vomit, but the father held her still, unable to run away from her. Matriarch. God, I can't spell. I'm so glad you agree. Things will finally go back to normal. Don't forget, you have school tomorrow, so you can take your brother with you. She was pacing around the wheelchair, both proud of her newest work. The daughter knew that within a month the body would finish rotting and all torments would begin anew. While the mother spoke, the new corpse was already turning pale. I was so busy preparing for today, I completely forgot about dinner. It may be in the middle of the night, but how about we have ourselves a celebratory dinner fit for a whole family? The police and this suit. You absolutely good for nothing husband. I should have done it myself. Father simply bowed his head. You've always been so oafish, and thanks to you, you now ruined all of this for us. Do not let them down here, or they'll take our son away from us. The parents were distracted. Now was her chance. Oh my god, dogs. As hard as she could, the daughter bit down on her father's hand, drawing deep blood. He jumped back as the girl burst from his arms, beelining it up the stairs. You better rethink that right now. The mother had her butcher knife around the other child's neck. If you leave us, I'll kill him. You wouldn't want to be responsible for your brother's death again, would you? That would make Mommy very sad. I'm not afraid to do it. Don't take another step. For a split second, the daughter almost pitied her mother. Throughout this entire month, the mother kept denying and making excuses, completely delusional that nothing was wrong with her other child. Even now, she was treating that decapitated corpse like a hostage with value. Huh, what's that, darling? You want me to kill her instead? That does make sense. I've always loved you more anyway. The older woman faced her daughter, her knife already poised for attack. She wasn't kidding. Sweetheart, listen to your mother. Come down those stairs right now. You've already caused her enough trouble. The daughter was so close to escaping, but her legs refused to move. Gloria? Her heart was ready to burst from her chest. She would know that voice anywhere. Brother? In the corner of the room, a figure turned his pitiful head to face her. But how? He was supposed to be dead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry everything turned out this way. It wasn't your fault. Gloria, you need to run now. And with those last words, his body collapsed back to the floor, bursting into a blackened sludge. Now he was truly gone. That closure was just what she needed. With no more time to spare, the daughter gritted her teeth and sprinted up the rest of the stairs. Out of the house, she barreled into the policeman's arms. The mother's howling was already far in the distance. Hey, be careful, that's a child. Are you hurt? What's your name? It had been so long since the last time she had touched a warm human being. Her resilience was finally rewarded. Don't worry, young lady, we'll take care of this. You're safe now. You cover the seeds with dirt, sprinkle some water every so often, and they'll ripen for picking in October. Wow, that's so cool. What's the biggest pumpkin you've ever grown? Hard to say. Maybe the size of our car? No way, Daddy. You're such a liar. The father chuckled. But I have won a blue ribbon at the state fair before. You should have seen the look on your mother's face. Having fun out there? Yeah, Daddy's showing us how to grow crops. Dinner's on the table. You three had better hurry or it'll get cold. Last one's a rotten egg. Wait up! You had a head start. Daddy, where are you running to? Your legs are longer. It's not fair. The mother put up a valiant struggle in staying with her deceased victims, but she was eventually dragged away, kicking and screaming. Ultimately, she was institutionalized. The father was charged with kidnapping and shortly afterwards committed suicide in prison. No one would mourn his death. With no family left to claim guardianship over the daughter, she was simply shipped to the nearest orphanage. That's sad. For the longest time, this tragedy became the talk of the town. Who could have known that the quiet but kind-hearted family would host monsters? It was rather lonesome in the orphanage. No matter how many times the daughter bathed herself, fellow children constantly remarked about her pungent smell. She couldn't tell if it was because of their mocking or if the girl could truly never wash away the scent of death from her house. Oh, you poor child. I can't begin to imagine your pain. Don't worry, we'll find a good family to take care of you. At least the nuns were kind enough to ignore her smell. She was able to make friends with one of the older nuns, who was well known throughout the place for her baking skills. I baked a nice pumpkin pie today. Would you like a piece? Eek! Shoo, you silly fly. This pie's not for you. I'm sorry, you're such a nuisance. The flies have been unusually bold recently. I don't know why. If you would like, I can cut a slice of the pie. Toss it, please. I'm not hungry. Are you sure? I'm begging you. I can't bear to look at it anymore. As you wish, my dear. And that's Pumpkin Eater. Alright, let's read some of this bonus. Thank you for stomaching through Pumpkin Eater. Countless hours of research were spent in making this visual novel as scientifically accurate as possible. Death is an unavoidable process and may be sad, but everything must come to an end one day. And through decomposition, many more forms of life can spring forth. Flies and beetles have a good home for their young. Plants thrive on the nitrogen and carbon that our bodies release. Though many shows delve into forensic science and application of science to crime and law, few showcase a less than fresh body. Even in the movie Psycho, A concept similar to ours, where the antagonist believes his mother's corpse is still alive, was only shown as a mummified skeleton. Decomposition is an understandably gruesome subject that our team thought would be interesting to tackle. Understanding how the human body rots is still a heavily studied field to this day. There are many factors that contribute to how fast a body decomposes, such as temperature, weather, and scavengers, or even how much surface area of the body is exposed. It can take as quickly as 2 weeks or as much as years. For our study, we had to assume average room temperature, low humidity, constant disturbances due to the mother, and some prolonged contact with moisture on the second day. Though the mother constantly sprayed bug spray to prevent the pesky insects from getting inside the house, there was still plenty of access for flies and microbes to feast upon the son's body. The story also takes place over 25 days. But if the parents had continued to keep the body, it would have skeletonized within 50. Because of the various stages of decomposition, the son also went through many visual changes as the story progressed. Though relatively normal at first. What are you doing, Sarge? Where was I? Because of the various stages of decomposition, the son also went through many visual changes as the story progressed. Though relatively normal at first, he becomes discolored, bloats, and eventually falls apart in a mushy mess. If we had more time, as this was created for a 1-month jam, a game jam game, we would have drawn more subtle visual variances to his body. Not only did we want to focus on the decomposing body, we also wanted to write as a family straining relationship over the month. We were very inspired by Resident Evil 7's Baker family and the Amityville Horror's Lutz family. Both series involved an originally loving family that eventually becomes insane due to various events. We wanted to avoid supernatural elements, though, as scientific accuracy was our biggest priority. Pumpkin Eater is definitely taboo in a niche due to the nature of decomposition, and we do believe it would make a good explorative film. Hello there, Panda Fighter. We're just reading the stuff since we just finished this pretty icky gruesome game. Oh wow, you've almost been following for 4 years. You missed most of the traumatic ickiness. Hopefully you're having a good day though. Let's see, Pumpkin Eater is definitely taboo and niche due to the nature of decomposition. We do believe it would make... We probably did play Overwatch at one point, because I do play a lot of Overwatch. Let's see... Thanks to these people, some silly Thugzilla, and yeah, okay, so we got a timeline here. Ooh, icky. See, day 0, death of sun, Pelor Mortis immediately, Rigor Mortis, Algor Mortis, and Liberty from Livor Mortis occurs at night. In the afternoon, I was like, your name looks familiar. It's very possible. I have a really bad memory, sadly. Yes? Can I help you, pup? Stinky. You stinky doggy. Stinky, stinky, stinky. Let's see, end of Rigor Mortis in the afternoon. Day 3. Autolysis causes marbling, green and blue pattern. Blowflies appear due to smell. I'm pretty well. I'm trying to get back to streaming on the regular on Twitch. It's just, with my work schedule, it's not always the easiest. And then also my fiance likes streaming, although not as often, so I try to let him stream on his days off. Let's see. Body starts to bloat in the abdomen. Putrefaction stages begin. Let's see. Persons. Okay. And there's a glossary for words I don't know. Adipocure, also known as corpse wax, breakdown of fats into wax when subjected to moisture. Algor mortis, when the internal body temperature reaches equilibrium with the outdoor temperature. Autolysis, bacteria in the body, starved of nutrients, will feed on the body itself. Stomach acid leaks, begin to digest the body as well. Ooh. Hydrate, you got it. Let's see. Black putrefaction, also known as active decay. God, I cannot read today. Large amounts of organic materials, such as nitrogen, will be released to the environment. Depending on the environment. Bloat. We all know what bodies do when they bloat. Function. Blood will settle. Eventually, lividity will occur. It will discolor the body. I don't know. I like this. First stages of decomposition. Alrighty. Interesting. That was an interesting game. That was game 21.